This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In today's headlines, as the West Philippine Sea dispute escalates, political commentators are raising questions about the potential outcomes for the country. Some even speculate the Philippines could become the next Ukraine if tensions with China continue to escalate. How far the president will take the dispute and how can affect the Philippines. And over 1,000 of people in Negros Oriental and Negros Occidental feel the impact of the recent Kanlaon Volcano eruption. The Philippine Air Force urgent response efforts aiding affected regions. I'm Frederico Velloso. Newsline World starts now. First in the news, a political commentator is calling on the public regarding the West Philippine Sea dispute. Here's MJ Mondeja with a report.
There are news from Russia, Russia Today, that halos lahat ng lupa ng Ukraine ay nabinta na sa mga US company.
This was revealed by political commentator June Abines in an interview with SMNA News about the current war between Russia and Ukraine. He stated that America is the real winner and taker of the ongoing war. But how?
Ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga bomba, mga armas na ipinila doon, hindi yun libre. May bayad yun. Kumbaga, utang yun. At ang ipangbabayad, ang lupa ng Ukraine na known as a very fertile and productive soil, yung land ng Ukraine.
The US is the largest foreign ally of Ukraine, leading it into war. This image was brought to light during the recent visit of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to the Philippines. Abines warns that if President Bongbong Marcos follows Zelensky's path, the Philippines could become Ukraine 2.0. And who will benefit?
Anong gagawin ng Amerikano sa Pilipinas? The same. Matagal nang nakikita ng buong mundo yung pattern ng United States. Paano nila exploit yung mga small countries. And the very example is Ukraine.
Under the Marcos regime, the U.S. has gained more access to the country's military bases. The U.S. is also the #1 military ally of the Philippines, with annual joint military exercises. This is under our mutual defense treaty with the American government.
Tapos tayo, Pilipino, tatanga-tanga tayo. Meron ng example na Ukraine, tapos papuntahin pa natin si Zelensky. No, we, the Filipino people, must wake up. It is our duty to speak our hearts and mind para tigilan na ang pag-warmongering ni BBM.
Abines has a message for the public, especially now that the administration appears to be suppressing activities expressing opposition to government policies. While it's not too late, the looming war can still be stopped. And the only way, according to Abines, is to replace those in power.
Tayo mga Pilipino, ang hilig natin sa movie, tapos drama. And every time may matapang, may mga bida na lumalaban sa matinding kalaban, iniidolo natin. Pero sa real life, we are selfish. Kung inidolo natin dati si Andres Bonifacio or Jose Rizal, kasi nga inaapi sila, pareho lang tayo. Inaapi tayo ngayon ng administration natin. Kaya nga, kung idolo mo si Rizal or anybody na bida ng isang pelikula, it's our time to leave that idol na inidolo natin. It's our time to express it in our own individual lives. Now is the time.
For Guatemalan Philippines, I'm Jay Mondeja, SMNI News.
More than 1,000 people from the provinces of Negros Oriental and Negros Occidental have been affected by the eruption of Kanlaon Volcano. The Philippine Air Force is on high alert and has assisted in areas affected by the eruption. Here's the report from Omar Franzuelo.
The eruption of Kanlaon Volcano has affected more than 400 families, equivalent to over 1,000 individuals. This number is based on data released by the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council or NDRMC as of 8 p.m. Tuesday, June 4. The affected families are currently taking shelter in 11 evacuation centers. From 8, the number of affected barangays has increased by 10, bringing the total to 18. 6 cities or municipalities, 2 provinces, and 2 regions remain affected by the volcano's eruption. Meanwhile, the Philippine Air Force, in cooperation with the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD Region 7 and the Office of Civil Defense or OCD Region 6, has assisted in the areas affected by the eruption of Kanlaon Volcano. These agencies are conducting rapid damage assessment and needs analysis or Ardana. The Air Force is using a Bell 412 and UH-1H helicopter in the Ardana mission, aiming to assess the situation in affected areas such as Moises Padilla, La Carlota, La Castellana, Bago City, and Kanlaon City in Negros Occidental. This operation is crucial in gathering information and visuals to determine the damage and needs of the affected areas. Due to the situation, and in line with the Air Force's commitment to humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, or HADR, their disaster response team units, fixed-wing aircraft, and rotary-wing helicopters have been placed on high alert status. Currently, alert level 2 remains raised over Kanlaon Volcano, and entry into the 4-kilometer radius permanent danger zone is strictly prohibited. For God and my beloved Philippines, Almar Forsuelo, SMNI News.
A political vlogger highlights the military hardware of the United States in the Philippines, saying it escalates tensions between the Philippines and China in the disputed territory of the West Philippine Sea. Carlo de la Peña files this report.
He promised continuity of former PRRD's independent foreign policy, no? But after his first visit, sometime in September of 2022 to America, suddenly he made an about-face, a complete turn to his promise, no? And then eventually, the sudden addition of 4 more additional EDCA bases.
A.B. Hugalbot, a political blogger, highlights the abrupt change in Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s stance, deviating from his promises to uphold the independent foreign policy of the previous Duterte administration, which aimed to maintain friendly relations with all nations. Instead, Marcos Jr.'s recent remarks regarding China's disputed claims in the West Philippine Sea have taken a confrontational tone. Hugalbot emphasizes that the presence of American military assets in the Philippines further exacerbates tensions between the Philippines and China.
We have B-52 Stratofortress bombers patrolling with our Philippine Air Force jets in the airspace in the South China Sea near Taiwan.
Yeah.
And the Americans have actually admitted deploying Typhoon weapon systems to undisclosed locations in Luzon.
Yes, that's
And
true.
Typhoon-class weapon systems are actually intermediate-range missile systems
Agreed.
that are nuclear-capable. They are able to launch Tomahawk missiles, and then they are future-proof for the upcoming hypersonic missiles of the Americans.
On the other hand, Attorney Marlon Busantog, the national coordinator of the IPRA Center, questioned the Philippines situation should tensions in the West Philippine Sea escalate into war. Just by delivering supplies to our military forces on BRP Sierra Madre na Yungin Shoal, it seems we are already embarrassed.
Pero kasi ang nakakatawa at nakakaya para sa atin, pag airdrop pa lang ng pagkain, inaagaw sa atin, how could we be believable? Hindi ba tayo tinatawanan ng ating mga neighbors ng buong mundo na ayan na ang Pilipinas, sa kanya nanggagaling ang lakas para ipaglaban ang West Philippine Sea, kinakalaban ng isang malaking nation. Pero when it comes to airdrop, pagkain pa lang, water cannon and stuff like that, parang napapahiya tayo.
Busantog also said that it's not too late for peace talks if the issue is only about our country's rights in the said disputed territory. He underlined that even Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Taiwan have rights and were also granted traditional fishing rights in the South China Sea. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
Up next, a shocking discovery in Guatemala's prison, a criminal call center. 225 inmates relocated as police probe operations, plus unusual findings A crocodile was found and even pets were kept by the prisoners. The Palestinian president criticized Iran's supreme leader over his remark on the recent Hamas attack as the aftermath of the October 7 incident continues to reverberate, raising concerns about the human cost in the ongoing conflict. And the Pentagon explores the possibility of enhancing command structures at its military base in Japan. Details emerge on plans to appoint a senior command tasked with overseeing U.S. forces in the East Asian nation, reflecting strategic shifts in the region. More news after the break. Guatemala, El Infiernito, or Little Hell Prison, was uncovered as a hub for criminal activities, including operating a call center for scams. Over 200 inmates have been relocated, and police are investigating the illicit operations. A startling twist, a crocodile was found on the premises. Let's hear the details from David Lira.
Guatemala authorities have transferred 225 members of the Barrio 18 gang from the maximum security facility known as El Infiernito. Shockingly, within the prison's walls, inmates enjoy amenities like televisions, refrigerators, pets, and even a call center for extortion and other crimes. In a statement on X, Francisco Jimenez, Minister of the Department of Homeland Security, declared, "There is no longer a single inmate in the El Infiernito prison. This prison is the country's again. We are going to restructure it so it will become a real maximum security prison." Additionally, prisoners had access to amenities like air conditioning, TVs, and refrigerators. Moreover, domestic animals like chicken were found on the premises, along with a crocodile-filled lake. During a prior operation, authorities dismantled a sophisticated call center within the prison, equipped with cell phones and internet connections. Minister Jimenez blamed previous governments for relinquishing prison control to criminals. He pledged to root out hidden space called caletas, where money, weapons, and cell phones were stashed. The plan is to transform the facility into a high-security prison with stringent controls and advanced technology. This operation comes in the wake of President Bernardo Arevalos' acknowledgement that organized crime dominates parts of the capital. This admission follows a UN calls to curb gang recruitment among minors. The Barrio 18 and Mara Salvatrucha groups view for territorial control to extort transports and merchants. Those who resist payment face fatal consequences. In 2023, Guatemala recorded over 4,000 homicides, equivalent to 25 per 100,000 inhabitants, with half attributed to drugs trafficking and gangs. I'm David Lira, your global citizen correspondent for SMNI News.
The president of Palestine slammed the supreme leader of Iran for praising the infamous October 7 attack launched by Hamas, a move which he said sparked a necessary war with the Palestinians, getting sacrificed in the ongoing bloodbath. Melchizedek Cadiz has the report.
Assalamualaikum. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas criticized Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei for hailing the war in Gaza as he challenged the rationale of his statement. Khamenei earlier this week said that the war in Gaza is necessary for the region and described it as a huge blow to Israel. The supreme leader also predicted the fall of the Zionist regime and said the Hamas-led attacks destroyed the plans of the enemy. Khamenei's statement, however, sparked the ire of Abbas and issued a sharp response. According to Abbas, the Palestinians are paying the price of the raging war, while the ongoing fighting showed that the goal of Hamas is to sacrifice the blood of Palestinians and destroy their homeland. Additionally, the war has resulted in the death of more than 36,000 people and injured 83,000 others, as well as the destruction of infrastructure such as hospitals, schools, and churches. It also led to the displacement of thousands of citizens and extermination of hundreds of families. Iran has long been a supporter of Hamas under the so-called Axis of Resistance, an anti-Israel and anti-Western military coalition operating in West Asia and North Africa. Reporting from Kuwait, I am Melchizedek Cadiz, your global citizen correspondent for God and for our beloved country, the Philippines.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi claimed his third consecutive win after a tied election race that lasted for weeks. Anisa de Guzman has the details.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi claimed a historic win for the third time. However, his ruling party failed to secure a majority in the world's biggest electoral exercise. Modi secured his third term as Prime Minister after India's ruling National Democratic Alliance (NDA), led by the Indian leader's Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP), secured a majority of the seats in the lower house of parliament. However, the ruling party lost an outright majority which could have given them the power to make changes in the constitution. More than a dozen opposition parties have blocked Modi's ruling alliance from attaining its goal of winning more than 400 seats. In April 2023, India overtook China as the world's most populous country, making the recent elections in the South Asian country the biggest in the world. About 640 million voters participated in the elections, according to the Election Commission of India. The official data was released on Wednesday. India undertook 7 phases of voting, which lasted for 44 days.
This is the third term of Prime Minister Modi, and we are going to form the government, and that is more over the last 10 years of our performance based on our actions on the ground.
It's a moment of joy for rather the people of India. It is the people who fought this election, and this is the result which they have given it. We were expecting these numbers.
This is the first time that India's ruling party has lost an outright majority since 2014. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Anisa de Guzman, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
Syria is not ready to welcome citizens who have sought refuge from other countries as a result of the ongoing civil war in the country. Let's hear more from Gataru Omori.
13 years on, Syria is still embroiled in a civil war that forced millions to flee their homes and sparked a refugee crisis in the Middle East and Europe. The current situation in Syria is not yet suitable to accommodate returning refugees, according to the head of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees Operations in Jordan. The UN representative to Jordan made a statement after 8 European countries called for the conditions in Syria to be reassessed so that refugees could return to the Arab Republic voluntarily. The European countries that were proposed including Austria, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Greece, Italy, Malta, and Poland. Millions of Syrians have been fleeing from the country to escape the impact of the ongoing civil war that erupted in 2011 as part of the wider Arab Spring Revolution, or the series of protests instigated by several Arab countries in the region. An estimated 1 million Syrian refugees and asylum seekers are registered in Europe. Another 3.3 million are registered in Turkey, while Lebanon and Jordan have 1.4 million combined. European countries and the United States have donated billions of dollars in aid to Jordan and Lebanon to help the two Arab nations cope with the influx of refugees. More than 6 million Syrians have fled the country and 6.7 million were left homeless by the war, according to the UN agency. Reporting from Dubai, I'm Gatero Omor, your Global Citizen Correspondent for SMNI News Channel.
The Pentagon is considering upgrading the chain of command in its military base in Japan by appointing a high-ranking commander who will oversee the U.S. forces assigned in the East Asian country. Let's hear more from Tricia Molina.
U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin is looking closely at a proposal to assign a four-star general in charge of the U.S. forces in Japan as defense ties between the two allied nations gain steam.
So let me be clear. The United States can be secure only if Asia is secure. And that's why the United States has long maintained our presence in this region. And that's why we continue to make investments necessary to meet our commitments to our allies and partners. Of course, this starts at home. The United States military remains the most capable fighting force on Earth.
This was how Austin justified the presence of U.S. forces in the Indo-Pacific during the first plenary session concerning Washington's strategic partnerships in the region in the recent Shangri-La Dialogue Defense Forum in Singapore. The U.S. Defense Secretary also noted strengthening defense ties with Japan and South Korea, in which the three defense chiefs met at the sidelines of the summit and agreed to take their cooperation to new heights through joint military exercises and information sharing, among others.
With Japan and the Republic of Korea, we have created a multi-year trilateral exercise plan. Its highlight is a new named exercise that will allow our countries to train together in unprecedented ways.
Austin also revealed that the Pentagon is considering a proposal to appoint a four-star general in charge of the U.S. forces in Japan and support the East Asian nation's decision to set up a joint headquarters. As of September 2022, there are nearly 172,000 active-duty U.S. military troops across 178 countries. Japan hosts the most number of American soldiers, with close to 54,000 of them stationed in the country and headquartered in Western Tokyo. The defense chiefs of Japan, the United States, and South Korea also agreed to conduct their first trilateral exercise in the coming weeks. Reporting, this has been Tricia Molina, SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. Every day may not be a good day, but there is something good in every day. That's all for this edition. For more updates, you may visit smnichannel.com or follow us in our official social media accounts on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. For God and Country, the Philippines, I'm Frederico Velloso, and this is Newsline World.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Subscribe to SMNI News Channel and turn on the notification bell to keep you up to date. Also visit our official social media accounts and join our community on Viber and Telegram.